Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in. How are we doing on a Tuesday? Couple days left in the month of July before we get to August. Then we get to school starting again for the kids. End of August, early September, depending on where you go to school, I guess. And then we get back to some normalcy at that point. And I am all for getting back to normalcy at some point here in the future. Charlie Hughes over there producing today's show as we broadcast live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up on today's show, a Tuesday appearance by Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. Looking forward to that because we're going to have to give him some crap about what happened in that Legends baseball game that he was involved in. Dude got traded in the middle of the game.
Isn't that like a good thing? Like he's a coveted piece of the roster, right?
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Yeah. So we'll get to that. I'm just seeing breaking news. Draymond Green returns to Warriors on 1 year, $27.7 million deal. Hell no, would I pay him $27 million?
That like deal alone,
no chance.
That deal alone should constitute the Philadelphia 76ers getting investigated for LeBron.
Yes!
The fact that Draymond Green gets paid $27 million
right.
and he only got $8 million for 2 years. Come on.
If his numbers are going to be brutal again this year.
Which means like if LeBron theoretically had taken the same deal with the Warriors that he did with Philadelphia, they still would have paid Draymond like $23 million a year right now. That's crazy.
And he's definitely not LeBron at this age. He's never was LeBron at any age. So no, that's crazy. That's just stupid money. Anyways, so Tim Dillard joins us at 2:20. Also, the debut of Ryan Blackburn, who covers the Denver Nuggets for Mile High Sports. He'll join us at 4:20. When I texted him, he's like, I bet you I know what you want to talk about, Mr. Watson. I said, that's so true. He's like, yep, I'm in. So he's coming on at 4:20. And then, of course, Green and Gold update at 4. Talk about the crew at 3. Jeff Passan is probably going to anger a bunch of you, what he said in his podcast today about the Brewers. So stay tuned for that coming up at 3 o'clock. Lots to get to there. That Badgers topic we wanted to do yesterday about reportedly them having a $25 million roster. We'll get to that potentially at 3:20. Looking forward to that too. We're going to start off with the Brewers, not about the game yesterday because they lost the game yesterday. Got shut out. Tim Allen and I did the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show last night. If you missed it, go back, listen to it. WSSportsRadio.com. Best Brewers coverage or the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. You can search to your heart's content wherever you download your favorite podcast, and you will find it. So that we're not going to talk about that game. There's really not much to talk about in that game. They didn't get a lot of hits. They had like 3 double plays, only had a couple of guys in runners in scoring position. They just weren't on offensively. Now, we find out afterwards that they were sitting on in the plane for 5 hours in Milwaukee before they were able to fly out on Sunday night. So they got in way, way later than they had planned. He's like, I'm not making excuses, but just so everyone knows what we were going through on Sunday night. This is the thing that I don't understand. These are professional freaking athletes, correct? Professional athletes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There is in no world a scenario where professional athletes should be sitting on a plane for 5 hours. They are not you. They are not me. Okay. They're flying private charter. They're not flying Southwest with everybody else. Hey, Jackson Churro sitting next to me. Hey, Terang's up there by Charlie. Yeah, we're just going to hang out and have some peanuts together and sip on a Sprite. No, man, they're flying to their own damn planes. They have private charter planes. Now, some airports, potentially not Milwaukee. I would never know if Milwaukee has this, but like O'Hare and the bigger ones, they have like VIP lounges and stuff, right? Man, you're telling me you couldn't put these dudes somewhere in the airport, have a couple of beverages, sit down, let them look at their phone, whatever. For 5 hours, you kept them in a plane? That is nuts. I can't even comprehend that. At some point, somebody's got to raise their hand and go, This is going to be longer than 20 minutes. We may want to get them off the plane until we know we're ready to go. And somebody should have said it at some point. Like that's crazy. And it happens all the time in sports. This isn't a Brewers thing or a Milwaukee thing. This happens across sports. This happens to NFL teams. This happens to NBA teams, MLB teams. I would assume NHL hockey teams too. And you always hear the stories. They were on a runway for 3 hours. Why? Why would they be on a runway? I can't even imagine being an NBA player stuck on a damn plane for 3 hours. That's even worse. Or a football player that's like 340. And I know they're custom charter planes or whatever else, but nobody wants to sit on a damn airplane for that long. I don't care who you're flying or how big your plane is. That is crazy.
Well, and I'm sure there's more to it than just, we can't let them off just because we don't want to. I'm sure there's things to do with safety checks and all that, making sure people are getting back on the plane, everybody that's supposed to be on the plane. It's probably just overall easier to keep people on these planes. And I think, yes, while it is probably more uncomfortable than getting off the planes that these teams are taking also aren't the same exact planes that we're taking. I think they're in more comfortable situations. They have people serving them on these planes. They have all the things that they need entertainment-wise to keep them entertained. Yeah, a plane chair isn't as comfortable as a lounger in the lounge, but at the same time, like, you're going to be okay. Like, it's fine. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, see, and again, that to me is the other part about this, right? Is when we sit there and we talk about spoiling athletes and they're humans too, and they put on their pants the same way we do. And why do they get special treatment?
They put on super expensive pants when I'm putting on Walmart pants the same way as they are. Like, it's different. It's different.
Correct. It's different. It absolutely is different. That's the thing. To me, more so than anything else, is you're paying these guys all this money. Your MLB franchise, lots and lots of money coming in from revenue sharing and everything else. Put it towards this. Like, if Mitchell doesn't have something in Milwaukee to accommodate or do this, between you and the Bucks, throw some money at these people over there at Mitchell and be like, look, we're going to throw some money at this. We're going to build out a super high-end lounge, bar, whatever area. So if in these instances, before we take off or whatever, they can mosey around, hang out till it's time to get on the plane. If we get stuck, they can come back in, hang out in here and do that. That's all I'm saying. Now, if the VIP area already exists at Mitchell, then there's no reason why they should not have been in the VIP area at Mitchell. Again, I don't have enough money to go sit in a VIP area in any airport, so I would not know. But I'm just saying.
Again, there was probably some other reasons that people that run the airports or are working at airports, working on these planes, all that. So there's probably other reasons beyond just that. Again, they can't get off the plane. Maybe they thought it was going to go a lot quicker than they initially planned for it to go. Maybe the weight of the plane, because you have passengers on it, becomes different. You have to reweigh things and you have to make sure that things are all the same measurement. Like, it's a lot easier just to keep people on the plane so that you don't have to remeasure everything twice. That's probably part of it. Like, there's other things, safety things that go beyond these people being professional athletes, VIPs, whatever we want to talk about for their safety. There's probably things going on that the plane needs and the airport needs to check out that requires them staying on the plane.
He's Charlie using C Sparky 5 for over here. I didn't mean to rant for 10 minutes about that, but it was just something that just irritated me. And last night in post game, I didn't really rant about it. And then as I was thinking about it today, I was like, dude, what are we doing at this point? Like, that should never be a thing for any pro team going forward. All right. So I want to get into what ESPN put out there today. So every day, seemingly, between The Athletic, ESPN, CBS Sports, SI, whatever, everybody's putting out their mock trades from their, quote, MLB insiders that might make a lot of sense and so forth. So today, ESPN puts out one deal ESPN experts would make. And there's a bunch of different deals. So they have two Tarek Skubal blockbuster deals. One has the Skubal going from the Tigers to the Rays in that deal. The other has him going to the Milwaukee Brewers. In this deal, Jeff Passan is the one that put the deal together. In this deal, Passan sends back Logan Henderson, Josh Adamshevsky, who he has listed as a second baseman, but he's playing the outfield, and infielder, I think he's 17 or 18, Ricky Moniz. I love the last name. And he's like just just making his way up in the complex and Dominican Summer League and so forth. So you have Henderson, Adam Shevsky, and Ricky Moniz for Tarek Skubal on a rental for a couple of months. That's the first deal. I'm going to give you both deals that they have for the Brewers, and then I just want to know, would you do either one of them? That's all. So you tell me whether or not you would do either one of them. So that's the first one. The second one has the Brewers. Well, first it has the White Sox making a deal to get Mason Miller, the closer from San Diego, but they also have the Brewers making one. In this deal, how do you say this guy's name? Embakidis? How do you say it?
Yeah, Paul Embakidis is usually how I say it.
Is that how you say it?
I think
yeah.
so. But
He does a great job with Buster Olney on their podcast. He's really, really smart. He's been a big Brewer guy pretty much all year. So he puts out a deal for Mason Miller for the Brewers. He sends back Josh Adamczewski, the outfielder, Braylon Payne, the outfielder. He's at the Timber Rattlers. Bishop Letson, the pitcher, up at, where is he? AAA, I think he is, right? And Sal Frelick goes back, and the Brewers get back Mason Miller. Would you do either of those two deals? Now, again, you don't lose Madej and you don't lose Pena. So your top two prospects do not move. Fisher is not in these deals either at this point. Ragsdale, outfielder that's having some success. He's not involved. Frias, who's the new young next Churiel possibly or whatever, who's now at Wilson at single A. He's 18. He's not involved in any of these deals. So would you do either one of these deals for Mason Miller or for Tarek Skubal? That's what I want to know from you. Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Streaming on the socials at WI Sports Radio on X, Instagram Live, and YouTube. Like and subscribe while you're there, and on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Charlie, we'll start with you. Would you do either deal?
I'm pretty easily doing the passing deal for Tarek Skubal. I think that is one that I'm comfortable with. I think Logan Henderson had to be a part of that deal. I've been shopping him in almost every proposed trade that I can think of. Like, I think he's the guy that's going to be the star piece for a lot of teams moving forward here. Josh Adamczewski, I know he's been raking. I know a lot of people are in love with him the same level as they are with Andrew Fisher, some of these other players. I'm not as fully bought in on this player yet. I really like what Braylon Payne can bring to the table eventually for this Milwaukee Brewers team. I really like what Josiah Ragsdale can bring to this team. I just think they're going to be able to fill that spot out, including with the guys that they have at the major league level to pass the time for now, at least, where Josh Adamczewski, who's a guy who's maybe a year and a half away from being a major leaguer, you don't exactly need that. He's a little bit more expendable. And Ricky Moniz is so young right now, as much as his name is really cool. You have other players that I think are going to take over in the franchise, in the farm system, before he gets really a chance to start moving throughout that farm system as well, unless he's Jesus Madej, which is, you know what, fine if you trade him away because you have Jesus Madej. As long as you're keeping Jesus Madej, it doesn't matter who could be the future Jesus Madej because you're also going to keep finding those guys. You do a really good job at that.
Okay, so you would do the Skubal deal, but you would not do the Mason Miller deal?
I don't think I would do the Mason Miller deal. I just don't value these closers as much as other people do. I think he can be an important part of this Milwaukee Brewers team. I also think that package, you're completely gutting your outfield depth with that. And I think that's a problem. Sal Frelick, expect him to move on, but I'm not giving up then two of my top outfield prospects after that. I think that's a little hard to give up.
Okay. So do you like either of these two deals? Would you do either one of them? Both on ESPN. Both, I think, seem relatively fair. Logan Henderson, Josh Adamczewski, and infielder Ricky Moniz for Tarek Skubal on a rental deal. The other one for Mason Miller, the Brewers would give up Josh Adamczewski, the outfielder, Braylon Payne, the outfielder, Bishop Letson, the starting pitcher, and Sal Frelick, all going back for a guy that's got several years of control left. And Mason Miller, what is it, 4 years of control left, I believe?
3 years after this year.
3 years after this year for Mason Miller. So would you do him? Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Tim Dillard coming up. 920 says, Miller, team control of him is no brainer in my opinion. I agree. From the 715, this was actually from Crosby's show, but I'm going to steal it and read it. I would love for them to get Mason Miller just so they could say it's Miller time whenever he comes in to close.
We read this. Somebody said that when we were talking with Paul Wagner, and he loved that. He thought that was a great idea.
Love it, right?
Then you'd have to change it to AmFam time after a while, though.
No, we don't. No, because Miller is still associated with the Milwaukee Brewers, even though it's not Miller Field anymore and all of that. I think it's still, it still plays in at that point. Okay, another one here from Ziggy. Can the Brewers bring Robbie Ray back with them? I'd like that guy to bolster this rotation. Ray, obviously, with the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, maybe. Maybe Stearns is talking things over with Buster Posey and those guys about potential fits for the Brewers from the San Francisco Giants. That could very well be happening at this point. I'm going to get to Tim Dillard. I will quickly tell you what I think. I would do the Mason Miller deal before I would do the Skubal deal because of what was mentioned. You get 3 years of control with the best closer in all of Major League Baseball. And I'm not losing Logan Henderson. So I like that because in my mind, Mizorowski, Harrison, and Henderson could be a stud 3-pack at the front of the rotation, providing the three can stay healthy for the next several years to come while you have them under control. So I like that ideal. I don't like you don't like, losing 2 outfielders in this deal, right? So if I could figure out a way to replace maybe Payne or Adam Shevsky with Marco Dingus or Jefferson Carroll and give them one of our catchers and keep one of those outfielders, then I think I'd be okay. I have no problem trading Sal. I have no problem trading Bishop Letson. I would like to keep one of Adam Shevsky or Payne and put a prospect, potentially not named Fisher, in at the other outfield
What if
position.
you could keep both those guys and say Luis Pena in that spot? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I'm not as attached to Luis Pena as others are. But it feels like the baseball world looks at Luis Pena with a very high grade, which means it's going to have to be special for the Brewers to trade Pena.
High grade, but also seems like a high risk that they're looking at him with too. I think at the same time is that, yes, while he is one of their top prospects, you get a little worried that he's not going to last.
Coming up next, Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. We'll get his thoughts on what we were just talking about. Summer's better with a Frosty in your hand for a limited time. Wendy's is giving you a sweet deal on your favorite summertime treat. A small classic Frosty for $1. That's right. Summer should be fun, not expensive. Treat yourself and celebrate. $1 Frosty summer at Wendy's. But hurry, this deal's over when summer's gone, so get it while it's hot. Or, cold. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Houston over there. Thoughts, prayers go out to those affected by the tornado. Pretty crazy stuff in Menasha and so forth. I reached out earlier today to the football coach and AD over there at Menasha. I haven't been able to get back to them. I'm assuming they are absolutely swamped trying to put their lives back together. So I 1,000% completely understand that for sure. Just trying to figure out ways that we can help as part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network kind of going forward. Been talking to our sister station, WNFL, working on putting something together too so we can get in the middle and help as much as we can. These lives get put back together, which is not going to be something that's going to happen overnight or the next couple of days or even in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a long process. So that, again, very, very unfortunate how that whole thing played out. I heard you and Thunder, Charlie, talking about the Packers should get involved in this and need to get involved in this. And I would second that 1,000%. And the should and need, I think, come from a couple different perspectives. Number one, I agree with players coming out, helping pick up stuff and whatever the case may be, or helping out at food banks and the stuff that you were talking about. I'm there on that. But I think the other thing that could be really helpful here is how about a financial writing off of, going towards whatever it may be. The Red Cross on behalf of the Packers, here's, $10 million or whatever it is to donate to help rebuild that community. That community is really, really close to Green Bay. I mean, even if that community was, let's say it was in Wausau or in Superior or in Milwaukee or Madison or wherever it was, like you would think that the professional sports team closest would potentially reach out and try to help in a certain degree. But when you talk about all three sports teams, the Packers financially, even though I know they only made $75 million in profit last year, whatever, they still, right, are the engine that drives everything in the state of Wisconsin from a sports perspective. You have a waiting list 1,000,000 miles long and everything else. Like if there's one organization that can step up, give back, and they do a lot of giving back throughout the year. Let me be very clear. The Packers donate a ton of money to a bunch of different nonprofits throughout the state of Wisconsin each and every year. So I don't want this to feel like, oh, Sparky's calling the Packers out. They donate all this money already each year. They absolutely do. But when you see something like that happen, that is, that's hugely impactful. And I brought this up off there to a couple people last night when we were talking about it. Those that are there, in my opinion, are kind of very, very fortunate the way this thing played out. Now, I know your home's destroyed, your car's destroyed, you have no place to live, and that's not fortunate, right? Nobody thinks that's fortunate. The fortunate part is that it happened during the day. If that tornado comes rolling through at 2, 3 in the morning, how many people are getting out of their house? How many people know? Like they tell you, be weather alert. And how many people don't have anything on their phone to sound off alarms to wake them up at night and have it on do not disturb or whatever the case may be, right? How many casualties would there have been had that thing went rolling through there in the middle of the night? So in a weird way, it actually, if this was horrible scenario was going to happen, the time that it happened was actually beneficial because a lot of people, I'm sure, were at work or wherever they were. But everybody, for the most part, outside of maybe a third shifter, hopefully everybody, was okay there. But outside of that, most people were awake and cognizant of what was going on. The weather was bad. And I don't think anybody thinks a tornado is ever going to touch down where they live. Oh, it's never going to happen where I live. Don't worry about it. Just wait for this warning signal to clear. And then I'll go back upstairs and we'll have dinner, right? You don't ever think it's going to happen, but that's the crazy thing about weather. You don't know. So I don't know. That's my couple seconds on that. And like I said, on behalf of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, we're trying to hustle up and try to figure something out here in ways that we can help and kind of organize and help put together the rest of the state to kind of help and help out as much as we can with those that were affected by the tornado. All right. enough of that. Let's get to this dude here.
He's a former Brewers pitcher. You can hear him on his podcast, Buses, Benches, and Baseball. It's time to hear from FanDuel Sports Network Brewers analyst, Tim Dillard, as he joins Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
There he is, Tim Dillard, everybody, with the orange sunglasses. Did you have those things patented? That color specifically, that shade? Is that like the Dillard orange shade? Did you do that? Cars have the Dillard orange, they have to pay you or something along those lines. I feel like that's your color.
Well, I used to have these Roy Orbison sunglasses, and I dove for a Frisbee in the ocean and lost them. And so I walked into the gift shop. I bought these for $5, and yeah, people started to recognize me for the glasses. That was like 10 years ago. So then I just found out that you can buy this exact kind with my logo on the side. You get like 100 pairs for $100. So yeah, I break a pair, I just reach into a box and pull out a brand new pair.
Wait. They sell Tim Dillard sunglasses that I can buy or Charlie can buy?
I mean, I sell them, on my website.
Okay. For $100, you get 100 pairs.
I thought you had a pair, Sparky.
I do, but he's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. If I go and buy 100 pairs of these, we can give them out when we're out doing remote broadcasts for Wisconsin Sports Daily or whatever, and we'll get the whole damn state wearing these things.
I bought 100 like 10 years ago. I got like 5 or 6 left. I'll order more. You want to buy 100? I'll order more.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were telling me that I could buy these glasses off of like your website or something right now. That's what
I used to. Yeah, they're sold out right now. I'm sure that's people are clamoring for them. I sell about 5 a year. I give away about 10.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Like on the run to the playoffs, we should be handing these things out to everybody on Blue Mound going into American Family Field. Everybody should be wearing these sunglasses. That would be awesome. Everybody's in the game wearing their orange sunglasses all out at the same time. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm almost making Dillard blush. Almost.
Brewers sunglasses would be cool too.
No, I'd rather have the Dillard sunglasses. No, Brewers are fine, but I want the Dillard glasses. Okay, so we'll get to the Brewers itself. Look at that. Hey, that's just a nice looking fella right there. I want to get to the Brewers, but you need to explain this.
Guys, we have breaking news. An
real?
in-game trade between these two general managers, Gordash and Doug Melvin. Who wants to make the big announcement about the trade?
We're very happy to have acquired Tim Dillard for a 2035 first-round pick.
When in 2035, okay, I'll be 84 years old then. So, but we really liked having Tim, but I think he will perform better with Gord's team.
Wow, what was that all about, man?
Wow.
I mean, I know you just played a ball in the outfield. I saw the sun got in your eyes. Nobody else would have made that catch. It is what it is. That was harsh. That wasn't very nice.
Yeah. I saw both Gord and Doug at the Uke documentary premiere.
Oh yeah,
at Marcus Theaters, and I told them,
was there.
The draft was the next day, and I just told each of them, hey, listen, don't feel bad if I get drafted last. That's okay. The last thing that I want is somebody that comes in, and maybe gets, drafted last. That's going to look bad, right? Like if somebody's like, dude, I came all the way here to be drafted last. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll be that guy. I don't care. Well, it turns out they really leaned into it. So they shot a whole video about how nobody wanted Dillard in the draft. And Doug kind of got stuck with me. So then they put together the fact that I was going to get traded during the game. I was like, what is happening right now? Villanueva was warmed up, ready to pitch, and all of a sudden, breaking news. But it was great. It was great. Everybody, all the fans, the next few days coming up, talking about how much fun it was. They were laughing at me so hard at how bad I was in the outfield. But we had a great time, and I got this second place medal, which I got traded. So I'm going to start asking if I can get a first place medal. But either way, I'm just going to wear this around for the foreseeable future. It was a fun time.
Of the guys that were out there, who do you think practiced the most to quote unquote be ready to go out there and not embarrass themselves? Do you think that were of the guys that
got to be Randy Wolf. Randy Wolf pitched. He pitched well. He hit a homer.
Run.
He was running good. Yeah, he clearly was ready for the assignment. There were several people that probably weren't as much. I thought Casey looked pretty good. He dove for a ball.
Yeah,
on
he
product.
did.
Billy Hall, I thought was gonna, do some great things, but he botched. I hit a little weak grounder to him, and he botched that one for us. But I also botched his double, so we're even.
that whole thing, it was all. I think that it went over very, very well for the people that were there. Did they talk about wanting to do this again next year potentially, or no?
I gave instant feedback from what I thought, talked to all the players, a lot of them to see what this experience was like, and talk to the fans. People hitting me up on social media, people I run into on the concourse, feedback from ushers, everybody. I went across the board. I was like, I want to know the best way to do this for next year. What is it going to look like? People liked it better than the home run derby because they got to see guys do different things. I had a lot of people tell me that they were crying because they never thought they would see Ben Sheets on the mound again. That meant a lot to them. Seeing these guys step up to the plate, Jeff Jenkins, hitting, running the bases, making a play in the outfield, things like that. Like this means a lot to this fan base. And so my first thought is, let's do it again next year. Let's do it better. I was thinking 5 innings because I felt like 3 innings went long enough to go 5 innings or 1 hour. Now that all of these guys got to go through it and see what it was like, they're going to be more inclined to know what to do for next year. It's going to look better. It could be even better than it was this year. I think it was a success.
I'm going to expand the thought process on this.
Sure.
Because that's what I like to do, and you're going to laugh at me like somebody else can do that.
Okay.
Do you think you could put together with Major League Baseball like alumni weekend or legends weekend where the two teams playing wherever they're playing have their own alumni game, Brewers versus Cubs, alumni playing each other in a game after the game. If it's at Wrigley that year, so be it. The next year it's at American Family Field, depending on whoever you're playing. And then you mash them up, and all across baseball, everybody's having their alumni games. And MLB Network and SportsCenter would love it because you have all this footage of all these guys that used to play back in the day hitting the ball. That could be a pretty cool thing. I mean, we're going into a new CBA here. Just negotiate that right in.
Yeah, there has been talks like this before. I've actually heard about this maybe 4 years ago.
Really?
They were trying to get 2 teams involved in maybe like a home run derby or something like that.
Yeah.
And it never got off the ground. I don't know what the hoops were to jump through, but the idea has been there for a while. And I'm all for it. I think it'd be great, but just in-house with the Brewers, stuff that they can control, the stuff they can do. I think use both dugouts. I think use different set of jerseys if that's possible, and then go get Niger Morgan and Prince Fielder. See if you can get CC Sabathia and just make it a thing. I think it would be great. I love that the Brewers are doing this, probably better than anybody else right now. But yes, if they want to expand, I think the fans would love it. I mean, you get rivals. I mean, just think of what the chaos that would ensue from something like that.
Yeah, and you could bring back old managers too. I mean, you could go down that road too. I mean, Yost isn't managing anymore. You can bring back Yost for one dugout, bring back Reineke or somebody for the other dugout. I don't know, just something. I thought it was awesome. I thought you guys did a great job. We should probably talk current Brewers for a couple minutes here before this whole thing is said and done. Tim Dillard's sunglasses and the alumni game. That's so far the topics.
We've gotten nowhere, Sparky. Nowhere.
That's all right. Okay, so first thing. This whole 5-hour stuck on a plane thing in Milwaukee at the airport Sunday night before they leave. I kind of vented about this at the beginning of the show. And, I've never been in a VIP lounge of any sort anywhere, really. So I don't know if they have one of those at Mitchell or not in Milwaukee. I know Chicago does. I know Atlanta. I know all these bigger market airports have that. But how in today's time does any professional team in any league get stuck in an airplane for 5 hours before being deboarded, shuffled off to whatever the area is, and being told, we'll come get you when we're ready to go? That is incomprehensible to me how that is allowed to happen.
It's probably more common than you think. It actually
is common.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
This is we hear it from other teams all the time, like whether a storm's going through or whether it could be anything is like capacity. Maybe there's too many people on the plane, or like maybe the bags are too heavy and it's like a weight issue. It could be anything wrong with the plane. They inspect it and then suddenly it doesn't look right, and they're going to believe me, they're going to get it right before they green light anything. So yeah, it's actually, I mean, I've been on a lot of these flights. I would say it's not as common maybe with the Brewers, but I hear from a lot of people like, yeah, we got stuck on the tarmac in wherever, New York. Yep. And it's out there. I can't speak for other sports teams, but I do know that for baseball, I mean, that's a real thing. Even to the point where like you have two teams flying out at the same time and they're both really close to each other, where like you're going on one plane, you can look and see the other team getting on their plane. And then maybe they leave first or you leave first and they end up getting stuck there because of, whatever's going on. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty common because it's a very involved process. The people that you think about all the people are on these planes. It is a lot. And then you have to, some people are getting screened. People are bringing extra baggage because of, whatever's happening wherever they're going. I mean, it's a big process. The Brewers, I mean, it's most of the time, I would say very high percentage of the time, it is flawless. It is seamless. But also they are a victim to, just random stuff that, I get stuck on Southwest every once in a while as well. So yeah, it happens.
But when you're common Joe on Southwest, it's like, okay, it comes with the territory, whatever. I just feel like when you're a professional team and you're chartering a plane, like, okay, hey, Joe, it's going to be more than 20 minutes. We may want to get these boys off the plane until we have this thing fixed. Put them in the VIP area. We'll let them know when it's okay to get back on the plane. Like, and it never happens. Like you said, it happens all over the country with all different kinds of sports teams, not just baseball, all kinds. And every time you hear the story, they've been stuck on a plane for 3 hours. They were stuck on a plane for 5 hours. I don't get it. That's one. Two, West Coast trip in San Francisco, day off Thursday, then it's the Angels. Tim Allen and I got into this discussion last night on the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. Is the day off beneficial on a West Coast trip when you're coming from the Midwest or the East Coast to have that day off in between? Or as a player, would you rather just play straight through and get out of there and get home? Or do you like the day off to kind of, reset, readjust your body to the time frame, whatever else, and then go back and have another series?
I would say neither one. I would say all these guys.
How do we both lose on this?
Number one, everybody loves a good off day. Number two, think about all the people that have friends and family that are from California, or they turn it into a vacation. I mean, that is the best. That's what they're doing. Every off day, if you get an off day on the West Coast, believe me, it is a vacation day. These guys are going home. A lot of them live semi nearby, so they get to sleep in their own bed, which they probably haven't done all season long, or they're visiting family or visiting friends, or maybe going to do whatever. So, I mean, going to Disneyland or Universal Studio. I did that last year. I took the family. They showed up out there, and we just hit up parks, because we were working, yes, but there was also an off day in there. So why not pull that off? So I think that's, you can't really pick your off days, but if you get an off day on a far trip like that, not only do you get the rest and stuff, but that specific place, there's almost everybody on the team at some capacity has a tie to somebody and somewhere in California. So these guys, there's a lot of threads they're going to be pulling on for that off day. I'm not sure if they're doing it in San Francisco and then traveling out, or if they're doing it in LA, but I do know that there's some folks that I work with that are actually going to do the drive themselves. They're renting a car. So It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Like this, some of this stuff has a lot of planning into it, because it's like when you get the schedule, you see the off day and you're like, oh, what can we do on this off day when we're on the West Coast?
No doubt. Tim Dillard, Bruce TV analyst. I got one more for you that I'm interested in, because obviously you were in the minor leagues for quite a while. What is this time of year like when you're in the minor leagues? Everybody's always asking the big leaguers, so how are you doing with your name in the rumor mill and all of that? But in the minor leagues, ain't nobody ever talking about those guys. And those guys' names are as prevalent or more prevalent than the big leaguers, because they all know some of us are going somewhere because the Brewers are going to try and buy at this point. So what is this time of year like down there?
Well, it's tough. It's tougher than it used to be in some ways. Now the minor league life has gotten better in the last 5 years than it was the previous 50, I would say. Just with getting paid, and they pay for your housing, they pay for your food. It's a little different than when I was coming up to the minor leagues. But at the same time, now they limit how many people you can call up. Used to, it was unlimited. I remember I got called up in 2008 and we went to Philadelphia and every single locker was filled. In fact, I think I shared a locker with Alcides Escobar.
Yep.
And so like that's what you did because you called up anybody that could possibly have a chance to be a part of whatever. And that's how it worked. Now it's like one or two guys, like one position player, one pitcher. I'm not even sure the rules. I should. A good analyst on TV would know this, but that means all these other guys are fighting for one or two spots, not 10 spots.
Right.
And you want to be hot. You want to be really good in September, going down the stretch because you don't know what they're going to need. You don't know what their needs are going to be, and it's almost like everything that happened before that becomes. It doesn't matter. If you're hot in September, whether you're swinging the bat well or throwing the ball well, you have a shot. If they need an arm in the bullpen and this guy's got a 9 ERA, but in September he has a 1 ERA, you're going to call up that guy. I know that's kind of the nature of the beast. So I would say the minor leagues in September, when that starts clicking over, mid-August, September, that's when everyone turns it up a notch, even more, especially when your team looks like they could be going a little further than just the last game of the year. But yeah, it's good baseball regardless. I'm going to go to a Sounds game here in a few days myself. I'm back home in Nashville, and yeah, I mean, this is when guys turn it up a notch because they know it's at stake.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, you're seeing Adam Shevsky's name out there a lot, and some of these other guys' names being tossed about. It's like, just leave a packed bag in my car and just wait for them to eventually call me and say, hey, guess what? You're going to Detroit and tell your time in Detroit, or hey, you're going to San Diego. You're going to be in their farm system now. Like that just. I don't know. It sounds horrible to me having to pick up and relocate in the middle of all this, but that's part of the business, obviously.
Yeah, that's a real thing. They'll tell guys like, hey, there could be something happening. Bring all your stuff to the field. Or, hey, take all your stuff back to your apartment with you because there could be something happening. And then you get a call like, okay, nothing happened. Just bring your stuff back.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But that's it. You're at the disposal of whatever's happening in the major leagues. And a lot of times you don't know until it's all said and done. And it's like, okay, you're going to go with this team. You got to go here. You got to pack up your spot. If you got family, like tell your family to meet you in Charlotte or wherever you're going, or maybe you got traded. You're in the big leagues. You're right.
Yeah.
You're going to Detroit. And even though it can be a really good time for some of those players, it's a very stressful time, just logistically trying to figure out who goes where's my stuff. I've had teammates that have had by the end of a season, they've had equipment or clothes in like 5 different cities.
I believe it. He is Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. Next week when we talk, we got a break because we're way, way late. I want a breakdown on Cameron Wagner, the reliever for the Nashville Sounds, who's only like 100 plus. I think he could get to Milwaukee by the end of the year. So we'll see what Tim Dillard thinks to him. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your time at home. There he goes. You betcha. There he goes, Tim Dillard on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One law call. That is all. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Going to be a short segment here because Tim Dillard and I, well, we can talk and talk and talk
about sunglasses and alumni games.
Yeah, alumni game is legit, man. On the Dugout YouTube chat, Brenton says, I was in the Toyota territory during the alumni game. It was fantastic. They should do it every year. Me and my buddy got emotional watching the guys stand out there during the national anthem. Yeah, 100%. Like that is something that was very, very cool. I don't know if there is a way, probably not, but if there was a way to do some type of autograph deal wrapped around that, right? So maybe it's...
I think they did do that. Before the game, they had the
pictures.
Some people had autographs.
Oh,
too.
really? I don't know.
Some of my friends had some autographs.
The press release that I saw said picture availability before the game with guys standing in the corridors or whatever the case may be. But couldn't you do like a fan fest type deal? Maybe it's at the Expo Center, Expo building at State Fair, whatever else. Line all these guys up, bring people in, get autographs and stuff. Could be cool. All right, let's talk about this Jeff Passan report concerning the Brewers. That's coming up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Three o'clock hour. Can I just say you people are awesome? You know, I really love y'all. I do. I know sometimes we argue and fight and y'all get mad at me, and I know, but y'all are great. Like this talk and text line, you guys are absolutely rocking it today on multiple levels. So let's read some of the stuff that I've missed so far, because I've missed quite a few, because we had the Tim Dillard interview that went on for quite a while. We were talking about the plane being stuck for the Brewers for 5 hours. From the 920, I worked for United Airlines as a mechanic in Chicago and often work these charters for professional sports teams. These teams are designated a plane, so finding a replacement is often impossible as it's such a small part of the overall operation, and they are stuck away from the general public on a more private ramp. I can speak for O'Hare, and obtaining a part to fix the issue can take upward of 2 hours. That's not including the maintenance and paperwork to give the pilot the maintenance release. Goodness gracious. I'm
telling you, there's a lot of checks you got to do with these planes. Like it's a big deal. Like you can't just go and start flying. Like there's so many things you have to check, so many things you have to go through, make sure all the pieces are right. Like
right.
I believe that every time it takes at least 2 hours.
I completely believe it, but they were there for 5. Nick, the mailman, says, Sparky, them getting off the plane into a lounge for 5 hours is the same as them staying on a plane for 5 hours. Moral of the story is that they were delayed for 5 hours. No. Yeah, maybe you and I are different, which is fine. We're all different. We're all God's children. We're all different, right? This is the thing. If you say, dude, I'm cool sitting for 5 hours in one spot. Now, again, the inside of these, I'm sure, are much better than what we fly. Understand? But still, you're sitting for 5 hours in a confined space with no ability to walk around or whatever. To me, I'd much rather not be on that damn plane for 5 hours. Like, you can put me anywhere outside of being on that plane for 5 hours, and I would be much happier if I was being able to sit at a bar and have a beverage and an appetizer or something to eat, looking at my phone.
Don't they got all that stuff on the plane?
Watching the TVs. But that's not. Do you want to sit on a plane for 5 hours?
I think, again, if I was in a Major League Baseball plane where I have plenty of room, I got a row to myself, they're riding the cart around, giving me all of the drinks I want. I got a phone and an iPad and computer and my portable gaming system that I could play because I have all the money in the world. Like, I'd be fine. I don't need to get off. Yeah.
No,
I think you're just antsy. I think you're
Yes, correct. Yes. I mean, I've been on a plane for 8 hours. That's ridiculous. And the only reason that was kind of okay was, and this was years ago, but the only reason that was kind of okay was they show you 2 movies. So I was like, okay, well, at least I got a couple of movies to watch. And most of the time you've seen the movies, whatever, but at least it helps you pass a couple hours of time while you're watching the movie. Because even if you sleep, you're not sleeping for 8 hours on a flight. You're only going to sleep for an hour, maybe you get 2 hours if you're lucky.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, there's no way I can sleep that long. Other text messages coming in. We were talking about earlier how I really want us, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, to really, really get involved and help out the people in Menasha and the Appleton area and all of that through the tornado and everything. And I'm looking for ways to kind of match up and help out. And WNFL, our sister station, we were talking with them earlier today, trying to put together something too. So always looking for ways to help because it's a big deal, man. 262, we are doing donations drop-off at the Wisconsin International Raceway during the Fox River Racing Club's Thursday Night Thunder program for victims of the tornado. So again, that's Thursday night at the Wisconsin International Raceway during the Fox River Racing Club's Thursday Night Thunder program. If you want to drop off some donations there, that would be obviously much appreciated at the end of the day. Ziggy says many of our fans and drivers are from the area and have been affected. So again, if you could go do that. Ziggy is obviously a regular to the show, always messaging in. So do appreciate that too.
2 hours ago, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers also put out a message. Our hearts are with everyone impacted by yesterday's devastating storms across the Fox Cities area. Timber Rattlers send our love and support to every family, business, and neighborhood impacted across the Fox Cities. We are especially thankful for the first responders, utility crews, and volunteers working around the clock to keep our community safe and help those in need. In the days ahead, we will be monitoring the needs of the community and doing what we can to assist. As a first step, all proceeds from each game's 50-50 raffle of this homestand will go towards tornado relief efforts.
That's awesome. And again, this is what it's about, right? Everybody stepping up and doing something to help. You have to imagine the Green Bay Packers are coming with something. I don't know how big it's going to be, but they're going to come with something to make a significant impact. You kind of have to. If we're being honest, you are the grand poobah of the state, professional sports team wise. That is your area. It's not like I'm asking you to go out to Platteville and go help them when they're so far away from you. Like, okay, I understand.
For you to come down to Milwaukee when the Brewers and Bucks are here to
Correct,
do that.
right. I'm not asking you to drive 6 or 8 hours to go help somebody. Not even asking you that. They're 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it is. I mean, come on, man. Let's get involved. I know they will. They will. I know. Ed Policy knows that this is a big deal, and they'll get involved.
It's time to talk about the crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Man, Tommy and Styles, I thought we were friends, man. I thought you and I were friends. He texted, Sparky, if you were on that plane, everyone else would demand to get you off of the plane to get you away from that insufferable complaining coming from one Sir Sparkles. Yeah. Whatever. Probably right.
I like that, Sir Sparkles.
But you know what? I'd be okay with it. If that meant me getting off the plane for 5 hours while you all jokers sit on here, cool.
No, never. They leave you on the plane. Everybody else is allowed to get off. Sparky, you have to stay on the plane.
More likely. And they probably duct tape me to a seat or something. Here, you sit here, big mouth, and we're gonna go and have a couple of cocktails. We'll come back. We'll untie you once we get there. Okay, so I want to talk about something else that we discovered today, and this was coming from Jeff Passan's podcast. Now, again, it is Jeff Passan and Richard Staff.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you. The name of this podcast is Sources Tell Jeff Passan. They were going through and they kind of had this big board, kind of like a Brady Bunch board, kind of. And then they had numbers and different players popped up in the numbers. And then
the Trady Bunch.
The Trady Bunch, yeah. And they came up and they talked about each player as it popped up. Well, up comes Freddie Peralta, everybody.
Yeah, well, Freddie Peralta will be getting out of Queens, and there are so many different places he could go. I know he's been tied to the Chicago Cubs a lot. Don't see that one happening necessarily. I think a lot of things would have to change in order for that to be a matchup. But one thing I did hear this week, Richard, is that the Mets have been talking with the Brewers about Freddie Peralta. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's the kind of deal where you see what they would get back from Milwaukee, considering what they gave up. Is that a trade that David Stearns politically already just getting flayed every time he's mentioned in New York? Is that something he can pull off? Could he actually deal him back to Milwaukee?
Look, if he deals him back to Milwaukee, and there's even the slightest whiff among WFAN callers that he got a worse return than he gave up,
which he would.
It's going to be a David Stearns head for the next trade deadline.
Okay, listen here.
He has a mask that he's dangling there too.
Yeah.
I think he's been dangling.
So this Richard Staff guy, earlier when they were talking about Peralta, it's just ripping Peralta up and down. He's a Mets fan. So let's just be straight about this. This dude is a straight-on Mets fan. Passan is just poking at him and prodding at him about Peralta and laughing at this dude he wasn't freaking out, but you could tell he does not want Freddie Peralta on his team. I want to know this from y'all. Freddie Peralta has one of the worst ERAs in baseball. Okay. He's in the last year of his deal. It's a rental. You saw what he did even last year when he was here, right? Had a great year. You know that Chris Hook was his coach when he had the great year. This wasn't 5 years ago with Chris Hook. This was literally less than a year ago. And they had success. Then he gets to New York. They start working on all this off-speed stuff and all this other stuff, trying to get him to throw other stuff a little bit more. He says, I'm throwing it better than I've ever thrown it. The Brewers annihilate them. What would you give up if you're the Brewers? Now, remember, David Stearns, Matt Arnold, together. Stearns, Matt Arnold's boss, back in Milwaukee. Stearns leaves, Arnold promoted. They cut the deal. Jet Williams, Brandon Sproat, we cut the deal. Here you go, David. Good luck. Now you're Matt Arnold, and now you're on the other side of this. And you tell the media, hey, I'm all about getting this team better for a reasonable price. Well, we read the Skubal deal. We read the Mason Miller deal that was being thrown out by ESPN in the first segment of the show. That's going to be both of those deals are a lot more expensive than what you're going to have to give up to get Freddie Peralta to come back to Milwaukee. Okay? If you're Matt Arnold, you're talking to David Stearns. What are you willing to give up for Freddie Peralta? What? What are you willing to give up? Because you're not giving up what you got for Freddie Peralta because he's a million times worse than he was when you traded him. So now you're trading me back a player that you made worse. I'm not giving you back what I got. There's no chance that's happening at this point. None whatsoever. So the package, the return has to be smaller with lesser players than what you got for Freddie Peralta, in my opinion. If he trades back the same package for Freddie Peralta, Brewers fans are going to lose their mind if that happens. So what would you give up? Nikolay Lautaga text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. Charlie, what would you give up?
I think I would go back to our prospect pool. Obviously not give up. Like Jet Williams, I think is potential. Like him alone, I think that range of players, what I'm looking at, a guy who's kind of stuck at AA, AAA, who's older or at 22 years old, one of those guys down in the farm system. Tyson Harden is a pitcher that I think could be an option there too. I'd be willing to give him up. He's the number 9 prospect for the Milwaukee Brewers. Jefferson Cuero, I think, is the guy that I think I am most likely to give up. I really like Marco Dinges. I think he's a guy who's going to start shooting up through the farm system here a little bit. I think William Contreras, depending on how things go with the CBA negotiation, is primed to still come back to the Brewers. Like I think the likelihood of that grows the longer that this drags on and we get closer to a potential salary cap. That could potentially mean he's a Milwaukee Brewer then. I think Cuero, if the New York Mets are willing to trade Francisco Alvarez, their catcher that they have right now, a guy that has been on the trade market or his name is heated up over the past couple of days, it'd be pretty easy just to say, okay, take another top prospect style catcher, see what you can work with him because Alvarez didn't work out as well. You trade him wherever you're going to trade him, and you can try to sell that. Cuero right now is the number 13 prospect for the Milwaukee Brewers.
There isn't a chance in you know what that I'm trading that dude, a top 20 player in this farm system, for Freddie Peralta. There is zero chance. And I just called up the top 30 list that we just had Sam Dykstra on talking about. And even on this list, Braylon Ntunez, who just got called up to Wilson, what is he, 18 years old? He just went yard, I think, his first game the other night. He ain't going. Encarnacion, the outfielder, he's 19. He's at A-ball. He ain't going. Now, again, a guy that's 30, Brock Wilkins, hitting like $170 at AAA.
And he's 24. Like that's the biggest key to me is that they have to be an older prospect. That's why I'm okay trading a guy who's higher up in the list as long as he's already 22, 23, 24.
Sure. But if you want to have Brock Wilkins, that's fine. Why? Well, I got Madej coming. We think he's going to have to play third. I've got Andrew Fisher coming. We think he's going to have to play third. There's no room at the end for Brock Wilkins anyhow. So if you want to trade Brock Wilkins in this deal for him, then I'm okay with that. But outside of that, like there's no way I'm trading anybody in my top. I mean, if we go down to Luke Adams is 16, no chance. Brady Ebel, Blake Burke, Ricky Moniz, Ethan Dorches, he's been up and down. But again, he's at high A. He's 19. That dude's probably going to be a stud. Diego Frontado, he's another guy. He's 17 at shortstop at 21. I ain't trading him. I don't know, man. I'm not giving him any legitimate dude in the top 20 or 25. I'm just Coleman Crow. You want Coleman Crow back? You can have Coleman Crow back. I'll give you Coleman Crow. I've got no problems with you taking Coleman Crow back. He's at 25. He's had multiple surgeries and everything else. So if you want him, I'll give you Coleman Crow and Brock Wilken, 25 and 30 on the prospect list. And you give me Freddie Peralta. And I might ask for a guy down in like single A ball to come back with Peralta to cover my bases.
I'd be okay with that, but then you're giving up 2 prospects. I think it'd just be easier to just go 1 for 1. Give up 1 prospect for Freddie.
But if I get a single A prospect back with Freddie, then I've got the future potential going forward.
You do, but you got plenty already.
No,
like I don't.
No, don't do that. No, that's like saying you got plenty of money already. You don't need to make another million. Ha! Want to bet? Just because we got a loaded farm system doesn't mean I don't want to take a chance on getting another stud player.
I guess, but I also don't want to waste, like, when you have other opportunities to still make trades beyond this Freddie Peralta trade, I want to be able to save as many prospects as possible for those other trades as well too. And if it's
this is the only trade?
This can't be the only trade. If this is the only trade, then there's a lot bigger problems than this being the only trade. Like that's the thing that's going on. Like, people are going to be mad at Matt Arnold that there wasn't more. At least if you're going to do this, do 3 crap deals too. Add it onto this. Like, do something bad too. Like, you have to do more than 1 trade at this deadline.
It could be Peralta and some middle of the road reliever that, can pitch an inning or 2 in the bullpen to give you some help on the back end, to give Ashby a break. But again, you have DL Hall coming back. He just pitched, Sunday. So he's going to be coming back. That'll give you another lefty out there to relieve Aaron Ashby a little bit. So I could see them doing some middling reliever that, they think can eat some innings on the way out to give Ashby a break. And then Freddie Peralta, and pretty much the whole farm system stays intact.
Yeah, I still think it would just be easy to say Blake Burke for Freddie Peralta.
Hell no. No,
you
chance.
Can't love everybody.
Life, am I trading?
He's the number
Blake
18 prospect. No. He's 23. They haven't brought him up to AAA yet. He's still stuck at AA. They have other pieces that they're going to put at the corners that we have coming up, like we just talked about. Like, he's a guy that I love too. I've been talking about him all season, but the fact that they haven't moved him at all throughout this season, where he's had a phenomenal year, at least to AAA, that doesn't make sense to me. And because of that, I think there's a possibility that he could be moved then.
He has 26 homers. He's not getting traded for freaking Freddie Peralta for a half.
Homers aren't the only thing that matters, Sparky.
No, yes, they are to me. Yes, that's all that matters to me right now. Yes, it does. Yes. Harley at the VA. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. Harley, what would you give up for Freddie Peralta?
Absolutely nothing. This discussion is absurd. Has anybody watched this guy pitch this year?
Yeah, we've seen him. He's not good.
Okay. Yeah, really. I mean, please. Are you going to send out Gasser? I mean, what spot is he going to take?
I would imagine it'll be Sproat's spot. I think Sproat is going to be the odd man out here.
So you're going to give up Sproat for
I think Sproat's going to go to Nashville when they get a veteran. That's what I think.
Okay, but I still want him in the Milwaukee system.
Correct.
I mean, really serious, Sparky. Seriously, I mean, how could you even consider, if you were Arnold, to bring back a guy that, unfortunately, I loved him, but unfortunately, he's lost it. And I'm not going to give up a AA guy that's hitting or pitching. It just doesn't mesh. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see the Milwaukee Brewer fans going, "Hey man, we're going to the World Series. We got Freddie Peralta."
No, you're right. Nobody's going to say that. You're 1,000% Harley.
Then why would you do it?
Because I'll tell you why. Because you have Chris Hook, Harley, and last year with Chris Hook, he was 17-6 with a 2.7 ERA. The year before that, hold on. The year before that was 3.68. The year before that was 3.86. The year before that, 3.58. The year before that, 2.81. He's never had an ERA around 5 since his second year in the league before Chris Hook was the pitching coach in 2019. There's no way he's that bad, I don't think, with Chris Hook. And that's why Matt Arnold would do it.
I understand that, but that was years ago. I'm talking about now.
Last year.
What I'm looking at now.
Last year, he had a 2.7. Harley, last year was 2.7.
I know. Last year, Sparky. Last year.
Yes.
I'm saying this year, does Chris Hook have a magic Kool-Aid? Is Chris Hook that talented that he's going to – I mean, I just can't – I can't sit Gasser down. I can't sit anybody down and insert Freddie Peralta.
And that's what would have to happen. You're right, Harley. That would be the deal. You don't have to trade those guys, but they would have to go to Nashville. One of them is going to have to go to Nashville if you do that, Harley. Thanks for the call. Look, I get it. He sucks. 4.99 ERA, 5-9, 113 innings pitched. He's given up 17 home runs. I understand. I know he's horrible. But if Matt Arnold and Chris Hook are like, he's not throwing the right combination of pitches. He's throwing this too much. He's throwing that too much. He needs to get back to being fastball Freddy again, whatever. Quit throwing all this breaking crap that he's trying to throw. Like, if it's that, you saw it with Harrison. Like, Harrison didn't do this with Boston. Boston ruined Harrison. They had him at AAA jacking around with all this crap that he shouldn't have been doing. And then in San Francisco, they weren't helping matters either. And it took Hook to put him back where he was supposed to be to get the most out of him. I'm just saying, listen, I'm not saying Chris Hook is Superman, but he's damn close right now. He's damn close.
He is. Again,
he couldn't fix McCullers, so he's not bigger than Superman.
And he hasn't really, like, a lot of these more veteran pitchers. It's been a lot of young pitchers that he's been able to figure out and
Wilson's
kind of pull
not
it
young.
Up. Bryce Wilson also, like, isn't doing anything phenomenal right now.
But he's being solid out of the bullpen.
That's
did it again last night.
Solid enough. Like, that's not
all you got to be.
That's not fixed. Like, fixed is what he did with Kyle Harrison. Fixed is what he did with Quinn Priester. These guys that weren't supposed, that had fallen off of whatever pedestal they were on as prospects. He brought whatever everybody saw out of them in the first place back out of them. A lot of these veteran pitchers that he's worked with so far, not saying that they haven't at least been serviceable, but they haven't been able to get this all of a sudden star moment out of them. And taking Freddie Peralta and getting just a little bit more out of him isn't going to bring him to serviceable right now. And I think that's what people are worried about. With Bryce Wilson, you could take a little bit out of that, and in a short relief role where he's not pitching every game, maybe once a series, it's a lot easier to get him to serviceable. Freddie Peralta is going to be a main part of your rotation if you make this trade, and you have to find a way to make that serviceable. And that's a lot bigger of an ask than it is for a reliever who's pitching every 5 games.
Fair enough. Let's go to KJ in West Allis. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's going on, KJ?
Hey, Sparky. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Listen, I'm going to preface what I'm going to say by first saying that I love Freddie Peralta during his time with the Brewers. One of my favorite pitchers all time. But I don't want to see Freddie Peralta back with the Brewers for any type of trade. I think he's pretty much broken. It's going to take a lot of work to get him back. Not only, his pitch selection, but mentally. And at this point of the year, it's going to be a real daunting task for them to do. I personally think he's going to get traded to an American League team, maybe the Mariners, the Rangers, I don't know. But I just don't want to see Freddie back here at this point in his career.
That is really what it is at this point. Thanks for the call. I think fans have seen him in the postseason, so forth, and are ready to move on at this point. From the 608, nothing for Sweaty Freddie. No jet, nothing. Not even a free lunch. Freddie has not pitched a good game for basically all year from T in lacrosse. Larry in Tosa, the Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250, says, Sal Frelick, that's it. Larry in Tosa. Frelick's got 3 years of control. Peralta's on the last year of his deal. Would you do that? Because it looks like Laura is going to have that job.
Yeah, probably. I think I'd be okay with that. Like, not that I would be sad to see Sal go. And the only problem that I think I could foresee happening is the fact that could hurt the locker room a little bit.
Yeah.
We've talked about that with other veteran players, and he is for sure a mainstay in that locker room, in that clubhouse, that a lot of people look to as a friend, as somebody as a leader. So I think that would hurt for sure if they traded him away, especially just for one player.
From the 920, why do y'all hate Jefferson Cuero so much? Average 270, on base percentage 354, slugging 456. Then he goes over his numbers, doubles, triples, 10 home runs, 47 RBIs, 30 walks for Jefferson Cuero. Let me explain. I don't hate Jefferson Cuero. Okay? Not at all. He's been atop this leaderboard for a while, and then he sustained the injuries. They're questioning how much his arm strength was going to come back and so forth. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watch Nashville Sounds games to know how strong Carroll's arm is. But Sunday, he was in the DH role, and they were having somebody else catch, right? So he was in there for his bat. Dingus is coming right behind him. So you don't need both necessarily. So whichever one at this point, in my opinion, if whichever one you think can get you more value to help you win now, if that other team is demanding, I want Carroll or I want Dinges, and boom, you can have Scooble or whatever the case is, goodbye. I've got another one. I think Dinges can be a stud. And I think Carroll is really good. I'm not trashing Carroll, but you have Contreras for one more year. So if it's going to be Dinges, then you don't trade Contreras. You lose him for a pick, and off you go. And Dinges hopefully next year ends up in AAA at some point, hopefully. And then boom, shakalaka, he's up in 28. Now, this is all providing they play games at 27, which, again, as we talked about yesterday, Jeff Passan saying some owners feel like they're not going to play a single game of baseball in 2027 at this point. So we'll just have to wait and see. From the 920, how about a snow cone machine for Peralta? Damn.
Sure. I mean, snow cones are pretty cool. I think New York would buy in. Sure.
I don't know, man. From the 414, we do need to thin the herd a little bit, and I'm looking especially at the Rule 5 draft players that Arnold will have to make available. There's probably 3 or 4 players we would not want to lose off that list, but if you can make them available in a trade from a major leaguer, that can help us this year. That might be the best case scenario. I know I said I wouldn't trade a top 20 or 25 player. I have one exception. I'd trade Jet Williams back to him. If they wanted Jet straight up, I'd give them Jet back.
You just don't have that attachment to Jet. Like, again, I think this is how you feel about some of these other prospects. Jet, you just are attached to them because they've been Brewers.
There's just not enough there for me. This year at AAA, at least. He's not done enough for me to be like, oh, yeah, there's a spot for you in the major league club. Because, again, they're loaded with guys that play on the infield. Yes, he can play center field, but you have Gary Mitchell, you have Lara, you've got Ragsdale and Braylon Payne coming, and Adam Shefsky coming for the outfield. So that's kind of taken care of. Like, they don't need Jet Williams. So whether Jet Williams goes in the Freddie Peralta deal or if Jet Williams goes in a different deal, I think, because that goes back to having to protect a guy, if you're the Brewers, Jet Williams is going in one of these deals, and because he's rated so high in these prospect lists, cross your fingers, GMs agree with the prospect list, that should help get you a decent player.
Looking at guys that are eligible for the Rule 5 draft, just in case you wanted to know, Luke Adams is a name that potentially. Brock Wilkin, we mentioned before, Jet Williams at Nashville. If we head down to Biloxi, Mike Bovey, Jesus Baroka.
Baroka's fine, see ya.
Dylan O'Ray has been a name that has popped up a few times.
Fine.
Head down to the Timber Rattlers, not a huge list of names there. Juan Baez is a guy that people have talked about a little bit. So those are the names you're looking at in that Rule 5 eligible.
And Bovey, it wasn't doing all that great necessarily coming into this year. Bovey's now starting to play better. Murray isn't a long-term prospect, I don't think, for this Brewers team either. Good player. Not knocking him.
Tate Kiner. Kuhner. I don't know which one.
Kiner.
That's what
Tim Allen brought him up last night. See, I'm not attached to him either. He's a pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Left-handed pitcher.
I'm not as attached to Kiner if they trade Kiner. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I can't wait. August 3rd's coming quick. It's coming. The 1st is Saturday. The 2nd is Sunday. The deadline is Monday afternoon, folks. Time's clicking. Like, this weekend could be popping on the leadoff show and the postgame show with Tim Allen. It could be popping on Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, by the time we gets to us on Monday afternoon, deadline's going to be wrapping up right around the time we're on the air, within that hour or so. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Hopefully they do something productive and help this baseball
Sparky
team.
can be here for a fun moment for once.
Watch me be like puking my brains out that morning, not be here, and they trade for Scooble. That would totally make all the sense in the world. Hey, want to score a free Wendy's Frosty Classic this summer? When the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, proud High A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, record 10 strikeouts in a game, you can go to any Wisconsin Wendy's and get a free small Frosty Classic. Follow the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers on X or Instagram as they post after every game with 10 strikeouts. This offer is good for 24 hours following the game. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this story in The Athletic, talking about the Wisconsin Badgers program and how much money they're spending on the roster compared to what they were spending. And if you're a Badgers fan, Charlie's Sounds of the Day coming up after that. It's going to feature some Luke Fickell from Big Ten Media Days earlier today. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I lied. We're not going to have time necessarily to get to a full topic on this. However, the guy that wrote the story got back to me today and said he's willing to come on later in the week. The gist of the story, because I think Luke Fickell is probably going to bring it up when he is talking and talk about this, is that the Wisconsin Badgers, after spending like $4 million on their football roster a couple of years ago, now have spent roughly $25 million on their football roster this year. Apparently, the Wisconsin Badgers, according to the numbers they know, and I don't know if this is shared amongst all Big Ten teams or how you find this information out, if it's public, I don't know. But they claim, and the boosters claim, that they believe that this now puts the Badgers on the top half of the Big Ten as far as money being spent on the football roster, which is great. That's really good. If you go and you look at the Athletic story, and I'm going to bring it up here real quick. If you go and you look at the Athletic story, the thing that I find interesting about all of this, and again, I just want to point it out for those of you that may not realize who this is or whatever the case may be. In this story, and it's written by Justin Williams, and Justin Williams, if you look at his stuff, it looks like he's attached to Cincinnati, so that would explain the piece on Fickell and all of that. But in this piece, he writes, year 3 was not going to plan for the Wisconsin football coach, bottoming out with back-to-back home shutout losses last October. So when athletic director Chris McIntosh came knocking in the midst of a 6-game skid, Fickell expected the worst. The former Badger offensive lineman gave him a choice instead. He asked me, what do you want to do? You're at a crossroads. Where are we headed here? Either you're all in or find an escape route, end quote, is how Fickell said McIntosh came to him. There were no specifics on how a departure might be handled, whether Fickell would be fired immediately, finish the season, or reach a settlement on his roughly $25 million buyout. McIntosh wanted an answer first. He gave the coach the night to think about it. Fickell told him the next day, there's nothing I would rather do than pull ourselves out of where we are. McIntosh then obviously decided to go forward with Fickell. The thing about all this is, you go, you do all this, you get the money from the state, you do all this, and then you put your tail between your damn legs and you go running for the Big Ten offices and leave your guy by himself with a new incoming AD. Again, Sean Eichhorst, I think will be fine. But again, he didn't know who the AD was going to be, and you leave him to survive. Like that. That's nonsense. That's what that is.
Unless he was giving Luke Fickell the out so that he didn't have to take the out, and he was open.
He didn't know. Fickell didn't know.
No.
They had no idea that Fickell had no idea McIntosh was going to the Big Ten at that point.
I understand that. I'm saying Chris McIntosh gave Luke Fickell the out so that if Luke Fickell wanted to leave, then he would stay in that position and try to rebuild it. And the fact that Luke Fickell stayed maybe was one of the driving factors why Chris McIntosh decided to head for the Big Ten. Like, that's my point. It's not that, they're buddy-buddy. Maybe there was more of a business decision with this, and he didn't think the Badgers could win with Luke Fickell, and hopefully Luke Fickell proves them wrong here.
Correct. Now, the other part of this that I want to read before we get to Charlie's Sounds of the Day is I want to read this part of it. Oh, no, I lost it. Oh, how did I click out of it? Oh, my gosh. In this piece, they quote Ted Kellner. Now, Ted Kellner has been around a long, long, long time. He says, as I understand it, we were in the bottom 40% of the Big Ten in terms of NIL money last season. I heard we're in the top half this year. The result is a deeper, more talented depth chart that had more than 30 players via the transfer portal. So Kellner is quoted in here along the way. Ted Kellner is not young. I hate to break it to everybody. He's just not a young dude. He earned his bachelor's degree in finance from Madison in 1969. That's when he graduated college.
A long time ago. Almost 60 years ago. Yeah.
I'm simply going to say this. Y'all better go find some new money. This old money ain't going to be here forever. And Kellner, he's been supporting this program forever. forever. And Cole too. Herb Cole was too. Again, that went away. And now it's Kellner. You better find new money. You better find your new whale that's going to support you for the next 30 to 40 years. That's a lot younger than Ted Kellner, because again, they should just call it Ted Kellner University at this point for all the money he's given them over the course of the last, 30 years, whatever the case may be. That is the scary part about this. Like, Fickle is short-term, fine. If I'm Sean Eichhorst and I'm coming in as athletic director, Kellner was there when Eichhorst was here the last time with Barry. He knows Ted. He's got to find out who is the next whale. Because if they don't have one and they don't find one, they're going to be in a lot of trouble when Ted Kellner goes away.
You also still have to kind of walk the tightrope, though, at the same time, and make sure that as Eichhorst coming in as the new AD, that you try to tighten up the relationship that you had with guys like Kellner at the same time. Make sure that that's locked down for sure, since there's a new regime change. Things are happening. Things are changing. And then once you have that locked down, then, yeah, you go find the new money. I think that's where we saw things kind of crash with McIntosh and Fickle, is that they locked down those old relationships and then decided that was good enough. I think you still have to do that. I think that's an important part of the process, but then take that next step afterwards. You can't just immediately come in and say, let's go talk to all the new guys. These guys are fine. Got to make sure that those guys know that they're still appreciated and still wanted.
That's the thing that I think really needs to be addressed by, of course, at some point here. Luke Fickell talked today, Big Ten Media Days, correct? You have that?
Yep.
So well, here's some cuts from Luke Fickell coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG1881.com. Again, BSG1881.com. You'll see all of us wearing our new swag, thanks to Burghardt's, coming up here in the next couple of weeks. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fiber with you. Don't forget Potawatomi Sportsbook, 2,000 square foot center screen, 2 levels of seats. It's a beautiful thing. Full menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen, not to mention all-day brunch, steak and eggs, pancakes, you name it, they got it there. And over 40 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, homemade desserts and pastries each and every day at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. And if you're coming in from out of town, from around the state, looking for somewhere to crash, maybe you're going to see the Brewers for the weekend or coming in to do something else, that's your place. Stay there at the hotel. Really, you don't even have to leave, really. I mean, you park a car in the parking garage and never have to leave. You can take their shuttle to and from home Brewer games. Just got to make a $5 wager inside the Potawatomi Sportsbook, then ask for your bracelet after you do that, and you're good to go. I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer. Potawatomi.com. Check them out now.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, this is going to feature Luke Fickell, Badgers head coach, as he talked at Big Ten Media Days today. What say you, Charlie?
All right, so first up, we're going to hear from Luke Fickell as he discusses what feels different about the Badgers this season.
Probably have not recognized this. Over the last 9 months, there's been a hell of a lot of changes. And to the naked eye and to the fan, I don't know that you could see them all. But to the people from within the program, meaning the players, the coaches, the people that are really close to this team, have seen and felt a difference throughout this entire program. And I'm standing here today in a lot different place than I was in the last 3 years. And I really do mean that. Now, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not saying that we're someplace far off from where we have been, but what we are much different in is our leadership. And about 9 months ago, midway through a season, there were some things that started to happen, and we could have gone one direction or the other, and we were in a really tough situation. But there was some youth within our program that really started to grow and took over in a way that was really, really healthy for us. And we had a group of veteran leaders that kind of understood what was happening and saw it and embraced that as well. And it's really, over the last 9 months, put us in a position that is far, far different than we ever have been since I've been here.
I really want to buy in. I really want to believe
So
that
buy
it's
in.
going to work now.
So believe.
I was so excited when Luke Fickell got this job and started talking about national champions and all that. I was so in. But listen, we can't sell, oh, it's different, until you get a quarterback through an entire season that doesn't get hurt. He has not had a starting quarterback yet make it through a season without going down to his second, third, or fourth string quarterback. He hasn't had it, not one time. So if you want to say, we're being unfair to Luke Fickell or whatever else because he hasn't had a quarterback, that's true. That's factual. He's got to show he can have a quarterback that doesn't get hurt. And Colton Joseph likes to run, which is what Fickell wants. They tend to get hurt. So we'll see what happens with Colton Joseph. But if they're going to be successful, if they're going to win 7-8 games, whatever, Joseph must stay healthy. The offensive line must be better. They have
to be healthy too. That's been one of their problems.
They've also been beat up, correct? I think the running back room is good. Not worried about that. But the offensive line, quarterback have to stay healthy. If they do that, yes, you can be a bowl team, win 7 or 8 games. I think it's possible.
Speaking of the quarterback,
I would say this. Look, I love where Colton Joseph is. Colton Joseph, from the time he started spring football to the time he ended spring football, has grown more than anybody else, I think, in our program. And I hope he would say the same thing. And I mean that in a confidence level to the way that which he played. But I think that quarterback room might be one of the biggest differences in our whole entire program. Like, there's a competitiveness in that room. There's the future in that room, different than, I think this investment world of what you had and what you have in there right now. The future is not just this year with Colton and maybe next year because he has 2 years, but the future with some of the younger guys is really bright.
Don't believe you.
Why are you so pessimistic?
You're spending a lot of money on Colton Joseph. So that's not a competition. He pretty much said he'll be here the next year or two. But this is college football today, which means if those young guys are good, they're going to be out. They're going to go to the portal. They're going to go make money somewhere else, and then you're going to be right back in the same situation you were.
Carter Smith is still here.
It's hard for me. Stop. It's hard for me to really buy into this whole thing until I actually see them keep guys and develop guys. They haven't developed a quarterback yet to this point. Charlie Hughes and C. Sparky Pfeiffer. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Packers making moves. We'll tell you what they are coming up. Green and Gold update. Plus, Ryan Blackburn from Mile High Sports comes up at 4:20. Don't change that, though.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
We are live in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen over there, talking earlier about this Brewers plane being stranded on the runway Sunday night for 5 freaking hours. And that's been an ongoing little conversation throughout the show. I look over the Dugout YouTube chat from the last hour from Boomhawk. Says, Sparky, I get off that plane with you and hit the bar for some Jack Daniels. Now we're talking, Boomhawk. Now you're talking my language. Damn right. Woodruff Reserve, whatever the case may be.
Boomhawk's always hyping us up over here in the Dugout chat. I feel like he'd be a good drink. Have a good time with him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I'd be cool. I'd be all right with that. Coming up this hour, Ryan Blackburn, Mile High Sports, will join us coming up in the second segment. Why? Because I would like to get his thoughts on the people with the Denver Nuggets that may have some interest to the Milwaukee Bucks, Watson and Cam Johnson. 2 of those people. I saw a report last night that said the Nuggets want 2 ones for Watson.
I'm not surprised.
I laughed out loud and said, over my dead body, you're crazy.
That's what all these guys of that caliber have been going for, though, or more.
1 second. I love you. You know I love you. They have no leverage. You're the only show in town that this dude can go to and get the money that he wants. $25 million. You're it. That's it. There is nobody else that can take this cat besides you right now. You have all the leverage. I'll give you 1 a long time from now, maybe. I ain't giving you 2 ones. There's no chance that is happening at any point. But we'll see what Ryan Blackburn thinks. Maybe Ryan Blackburn thinks more of Watson than some Bucks fans do. I didn't see one Bucks fan that said, oh, yeah, sure, give him 2 ones. I didn't see anybody on social media saying that last night.
That's just what that kind of guy has going for those 3-and-D players that have a lot of potential, even if they haven't fully shown that. That's what all of them have. Desmond Bain, Mikal Bridges, and those guys were a little bit better, and they got a lot more than just 2 first-round picks. This guy is
Desmond Bain deal was so stupid.
This guy's in that same kind of vein of player. He's in the Lou Dort type of player, and the Thunder got a decent pack for Lou Dort.
None of those guys win you championships as a top 2 or top 3 guy.
No, but Lou Dort was an important part of a championship team.
But he's not that guy. I'm paying this cat.
Mikal Bridges was an important part of a championship team.
I'm paying this cat 20. If they pay him $25 million, if I'm paying this cat $25 million, you're the guy. You got to be the guy. You're number 1 on this basketball team going forward. Forget about Tyler Hero. Because he's only here for a short time. You're going to be here for a long time. You got to go play like a number 1. You got to be the James Harden of OKC to Houston. You got to take a jump if I'm paying you $25 million. That's all I'm saying. If he comes here and is Desmond Bain, that's a fail. I got no chance. That ain't worth $25 million a year if he's Desmond Bain. Sorry. You don't have the other guys around you. Lou Dort had Holmgren, had SGA, had Williams, had all kinds of guys. He's just another guy. If I'm paying this cat $25 million, he's got to go be the guy on this current roster as we sit. Now,
$25 million puts you on pace with Miles Bridges, who just got that contract.
Where is that in basketball?
That is for small forwards about almost 40th down on the list. You're getting pretty far down. Jaden McDaniels is making 26-2 for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Wait. Stop. Go back. You're saying there are 40 small forwards. There's only 30 teams.
This is forward. That's why it's forward. So I have it as that. If you want me to do it as small forward specifically, it's still going to be in the teens, probably getting down there. Yeah.
Look it up for small forward, or if you can do wing, that would be fine too.
That's what I was just doing. I was in forwards.
Okay.
So yeah, it's still pretty close in the 20s down there. Yeah.
At small forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, that's not that crazy.
That's a lot of damn money for a guy that's not even that good. I mean, he could get to be
Andrew
good.
Wiggins, Trey Murphy, Jalen Johnson, or Brandon Ingram. Your Michael Porter Jr. Again, those are all guys in that same range. Herb Jones, DeAndre Hunter, a little below that.
DeAndre Hunter.
That's not that crazy. $25 million is not that crazy.
You and
Sparky.
I realize a lot of those dudes are overpaid, man.
Everybody in the NBA is getting overpaid.
Porter ain't worth that either.
This is the soft cap. This is why like a lot of people don't think it's working as well as some other people do. Why the MLB is maybe a little hesitant to implement it.
This was not supposed to be a Bucks topic. That's my fault. We'll get to this with Ryan Blackburn of Mile High
I wanted
Sports.
to talk real quick about it. He called in just for this topic.
Al, quickly, I got to get to Green and Gold update. I sidetracked the segment. I apologize. What's up?
Okay, Sparky. I'll be very, very quick. You're not wrong. It's overpaying. But at the same time, Charlie's right. That's what it's going for.
Yeah.
With the Bucks, I mean, it's going to have to be a trade because we can't sign it. We don't have the cap space. But if we could give up Jaquez and maybe even
you have the $25 million trade exception. They can't take players back because they're in the second apron. This is going to be essentially Watson going for a pick potentially, or a pick and a second round pick or something.
And that's what I was going to say. Quickly was just if a pick gets included, heck no. Nope, I'm out.
That's what it's going to be. I mean, they want 2 1s. I'm not giving them 2 1s. Maybe all one in like 6 years or 5 or 6 years, like 2033 or something. Fine, because by that time, you better be good. That pick better not matter as much by 2033.
What the Bucks should do is try to work with Houston and move AJ Green for one of their first round picks. They've got a lot of assets. I think he could be moved somewhere really, really nice. Take care, fellas.
Yeah, I'm fine moving AJ Green. No problem there. Thanks for the call, Al. From the 262, $25 million isn't a number one. I agree with you. But on this team, with this group, it is. With this group that they have now. Now, if they get a superstar, I don't know how, but if they get a superstar that's making $50 million a year, then yes. Then obviously he's not a number one. Charlie just read off the list of where he is in forwards. He's down the list. But on this team, once Tyler Hero's $33 million or whatever it is gone, once he's gone, he's the dude. Him and Miles Turner. Those are your 2 guys from a salary perspective that you're looking at go. And then Burries, right? But he's on no money.
Right.
So then Burries, that's your big three going into the summer. If they don't trade Turner, I think would be Turner, Watson, and Burries.
I think when you look at a team that is this far down in a lot of people's ratings, who's not going to be very good.
Go ahead.
Who's not going to be very good. Like, you can't base value off of contracts with teams like this. You just have to watch how they play on the court. And I think Baden Watson has a high ceiling that a lot of people are looking at. It says that, hey, at $25 million, he can go out there and prove that. But if he gets overshadowed, it's a bad Bucks team. We'll figure it out. $25 million isn't impossible to overcome in the future.
That's very logical, and it makes a lot of sense. With that, let's move on.
It's time for your Green and Gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
You know, I said a couple weeks ago that, hey, man, look, don't expect a ton of Bucks talk necessarily because they're not going to be very good. And the more we do this, the more I realize it's impossible for me not to talk.
We just love talking Bucks.
It's just
I love the Bucks. Sparky
it's
loves
impossible.
The Bucks.
I'll do my best to like rein it in because everybody's going to talk Packers and the Packers season, all that. But like the open of this show says, Packers, Brewers, Bucks. We try to do that every single day, and we'll continue to try to do that. Again, harder during the Packers season because the Packers are religion in this state. I get it, but we'll still try our best. Speaking of the Packers have signed Lenny Krieg. From Germany. Okay. And tight end Thomas Yasmin. Couldn't tell you. They released edge Dante Barnett. Don't care.
Didn't even know he was on the team.
Uh-oh.
Oh, big news.
Y'all may want to sit down. Y'all know this name. Sit down. If you're driving, pull over maybe a little bit because this dude had a huge fan base last year. Lucas Havrisik. See ya.
What?
Bye-bye now. Out you go.
You mean record holder, Packers legend, Lucas Havrisik, longest field goal in Packers history?
He should kick over Brandon McManus, Sparky. Oh, he should be out there. They should cut McManus and play Havrisik. Remember how much I heard that last year? I was getting so nauseated by this whole conversation. It's like, come on, man. He's not the guy. Stop. And no. And then they drafted Smack. And that was another sign that Havrisik wasn't the guy because they believed in him. They would not have drafted Smack. They would have let Haversack roll back in, have another competition with McManus. McManus would still be there, I bet you, if that was the case. Because he'd be like, sure, cool, I'll go against this guy. No problem. But once they drafted a guy, then it was probably like, okay, I'm done. I got to go. And he doesn't have a team still, by the way, McManus. So Haversack out. I know tears are going to be shed tonight in Wisconsin. I know. It's tough.
Lenny Krieg sounds like a cool name, though. He's from Germany, so I feel like maybe there's some talent there as a backup kicker that people could cheer for instead of Lucas Haversack.
For Goody's sake, he better not outperform Smack in training camp of preseason. That's all
I don't think it matters who it was. Smack couldn't be outperformed. Like, if he got outperformed, it was going to be a problem with this fan base, no matter who it is back there, whether it was Brandon McManus or Lucas Haversack or Lenny Krieg at this point.
Lenny Krieg. Kind of like Lenny Kravitz, but Lenny Krieg. Is that kind of the deal?
Lenny Krieg, I think he played for the Falcons for a little bit, at least as a preseason. Let's see if he's got anything.
Dude, you are a loser if you actually know this.
Last team he was on was Falcons. The Jets.
Oh.
He's wearing a Falcons jersey in his picture, though.
But we don't know if he actually got into a game.
Yeah, no, he played with the Falcons 25 to 26. He was with the Jets for a little bit. They cut him in the Packers pick.
Did he ever kick in a regular season game?
I don't believe so. It doesn't look like he has a single stat ever. Okay. Game log, no available information. That was pretty cool. I knew that, though.
So do you cut Haversack because you don't want real competition for Smack? Is that why you cut Haversack? Or did you cut Haversack because you really think Krieg has a chance to do something against Smack?
I don't know. Like, in my mind, Lucas Haversack, I know he had a big fan base like you're bringing up here. He didn't bring that much competition in the first place,
you
man.
You get like 500 dudes on the training camp roster. Right. Like, there's a million guys. Just let all three of them kick it out.
No, you don't do that, because I think you want Smack to still be the starter. True. I don't think it matters who the competition is, but I think you still want him to be the starter. If you have three guys, that's a competition. Two guys isn't a competition.
Who was the kicker that the old special teams coach wanted that they drafted? His brother kicks for the Raiders.
Anders Carlson?
Yeah. When they had Anders Carlson, because Bisaccia wanted him. Known him since he was a kid, all that, right? I remember you and me talking about it and me screaming all summer, the last summer he was here, about you talk about competition, Goody, and you have no competition for the kicker. Like, nobody is in here kicking against him. Every other position group have guys battling for position, real or not real battles, but they're all there. He was out there by himself kicking because they wanted to make sure it was his job because of Bisaccia. So I ask you, Smack, baby, he's going out there. There's technically a guy there with him. Is it competition, or is it just going through the motions and this is his job regardless? Because if the answer is we're just going through the motions and it's Smack's job regardless, then just get rid of this guy too. Just let him have all the reps kicking. Let him wear his leg out.
I'm pretty sure this guy fits the international player need that they have to fill too for training camp, and I'm pretty sure that's the main reason they brought him on. I think Haversack did too initially, and then maybe for some reason they just felt like they wanted to switch it up a little bit, or you have to switch it up a little bit. So they're like, screw it, backup kicker, who cares?
So is this essentially like the Rooney Rule, where we're just going to interview somebody to get through
That's kind of what it feels like, yeah. And trade straight Smack's job.
Good Lord. Ryan Blackburn, Mile High Sports is coming up next. We'll get into the Nuggets, Bucks, potential deals that may be going down in the future. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. All right, it is Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Fiver, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. Hope y'all are well. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that is all. He is Ryan Blackburn from Mile High Sports. Follow him on X at NBA Blackburn. Ryan, thanks so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you too.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I have you on. And you knew right away why I wanted to have you on as soon as I texted and reached out to you. Peyton Watson is a guy that could be moved from the Denver Nuggets. And the Bucks have been speculated here locally and nationally as potentially being a team. But the Oklahoma City Thunder seemingly kind of screwed everything up for the Nuggets, it appears.
Yes and no. There's a couple of reasons why OKC getting involved when they did makes this a whole lot more complicated. First and foremost is the signing of Spencer Jones, a 2-year, $12 million deal for Denver, technically puts them above the second apron. They're the only team that is above the second apron at this point, and being a repeater tax team, one of the only teams that's a repeater tax team, their luxury tax bill is looking pretty crazy now if they decide to bring everybody back. So there's been a lot of reports nationally and locally that the Nuggets are looking to cut salary and trying to figure out ways to do that. But the second most important thing is Peyton Watson and what he means to the Nuggets and as one of the higher upside players that they have on the wing. His restricted free agency has become, I'll say tumultuous is probably the right word for it. And he is trying to figure out, and Rich Paul is trying to figure out where they can get the best deal possible. But the Spencer Jones situation makes them more complicated because as a second apron team, the Nuggets cannot sign and trade anybody legally at this point. So they would have to figure that out. But yeah, it's another wrinkle. So Sam Presti, 2 steps ahead of everybody.
So this deal with Peyton Watson, then, I mean, according to the one report that I saw out of The Athletic, 5 years, $70 million was the offer from the Nuggets. I'm not great at math, but what is that? That's like $14 million a year or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was talk he wanted like $20 to $25 million a year. So what kind of number do you think this ends up at eventually?
Oh, I can tell you he wants even more than 20 to 25. I'll say that. He ideally would like to be paid more than Christian Brown, who the Nuggets signed to a contract extension the previous offseason. And that contract's kind of putting a wrench in a lot of these negotiations as Denver has to negotiate against their own previous negotiations with a player who they think might be better than Christian Brown. But the thing about restricted free agency is Denver still holds all the cards. No teams in the NBA have salary cap space, including your Milwaukee Bucks in the Milwaukee area, to try to lure Peyton Watson away with an offer sheet. So that means that they have to agree to a sign-and trade, and that has put a lot of complications on this. We saw a report that the Nuggets asking price for that has lowered at least a little bit. But
that was what, two first round picks is what I saw, Ryan.
Yeah, it was initially kind of that Walker Kessler package, 2 first-round picks and 2 first-round pick swaps was what they're asking for. They've dropped it down to a first-round pick and a good player from Sham Sharani is reporting, but I do think that they're still going to be fighting hard for something like that. And the reason why they can offer a 5-year, $70 million deal, which, by the way, we don't know when that offer came in at. Right. It sounds pretty ridiculous on face value, just because I think Peyton Watson and his camp are probably thinking, okay, 3 years, $70 million. That's what you said. No, you said 5 years, $70 million. So that's the question mark there. I don't think there's any reason for Peyton Watson and his camp to take that. And I also think it's probably an older deal that is now surfaced. I very much doubt that the Nuggets think they could get Peyton Watson for $14 million a year.
So talking with Ryan Blackburn, Mile High Sports, follow him on X at NBA Blackburn, joins us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. As far as this whole sign and trade thing, because originally when you started, you said because of the second apron, they really can't do a sign and trade. So then what type of hoops would they have to jump through in order to get to that point?
Yeah, every single deal that they do, if they do take back any salary at all, $1 worth of salary, is that they have to get under the second apron again. So right now they're about $2 million above it. I think but Peyton Watson doesn't count for any of that at this point. So any salary that they take would have to be negative $2 million somehow. So there's another move that they'd have to make. Maybe they would throw in Zeke Naji in a sign and trade in that situation, and then they could take back a small salary as a result of that. But it's a very complicated matter and something that they're trying to figure out. But they started that clock a little bit earlier with the Spencer Jones situation. I think it makes it less likely that Peyton Watson gets signed and traded away. I think it makes it more likely that he comes back. But there's the leverage of the qualifying offer to consider, and other teams, if they're able to give Denver an offer that they can't refuse, then this will all find a way to smooth itself out. But it involves other teams coming to the table and actually putting an offer on the table that the Nuggets like.
I think Bucks fans look at it and go, well, wait a second. We got a $25 million trade exemption sitting right here. We can just snuggle him right into that.
It's a great idea. And I think that would be ideal from a Bucks perspective. I look at actually all three of Denver's wings, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, and Cam Johnson, as three different players that could fit into that $25 million trade exception. And I don't think that's an accident as to why Milwaukee is so involved in these negotiations. I actually think that it may not even be Peyton Watson who ends up getting moved here because of the relegation rules and things like that. And because Milwaukee wants to stay competitive, from what I understand, they would take back a starter and in any of those cases. And obviously, there's different values that you'd have to give up, or maybe Denver would have to give something up if they're trading away Christian Brown. But I do think that Milwaukee is a very logical trade destination for whatever happens with Denver.
What if it's Cam Johnson? Because I think his value kind of went down, but he is an expiring contract, and the Bucks have a bunch of those right now that potentially they could move again later, maybe at the trade deadline.
Yeah, the logic behind it is sound. I do think that Cam Johnson makes a lot of sense for a team like Milwaukee, just because you want to get as many wins as possible to avoid that relegation zone with the lottery tanking rules that are happening now. But in general, if you are in that situation and you could flip Kyle Kuzma or somebody of that nature for Cam Johnson, it just makes you, in all likelihood, a better team. So the problem that Denver has with that is they don't want to take any salary back. So you start going back and forth. Milwaukee would be hard capped at the first apron if they were to do something like this. And so they'd have to send out a certain amount of money in order to make that work. I think from Denver's perspective, they'd love it if you said, all right, Cam Johnson for Jaime Jaquez. Like, Denver would be over the moon in that situation because it's a guy who makes about $18 million less in this season. But obviously, Jaime Jaquez nearly won Sixth Man of the Year and is in line for his own $20+ million extension in all likelihood in the coming months. So we'll see what happens with it. But I do think that if Denver were to be going specifically with Peyton Watson as the trade candidate, I do think they're probably targeting Ryan Rollins or Jaime Jaquez and a first-round pick at least.
Talking with Ryan Blackburn, Mile High Sports. Follow him on X at NBA Blackburn. How does Rich Paul fit into all of this? Because as we know, Rich Paul and Gary Trent Jr. and the Bucks are being investigated for circumventing the salary cap, yet LeBron's able to go sign for $4 million with the team. Either way, so you have that connection with Rich Paul and the Bucks. How much power and pull does he have in this situation for Watson, the Nuggets, and wherever Watson may want to go?
He has a fair amount. It's not more than what the Nuggets have. They of course have the final say in all of this. But if Rich Paul and Peyton Watson are going to leverage these negotiations for as long as possible, make them as ugly as possible. I mean, there's a reason why this report came out the way that it did. You know that the Nuggets did not leak that they offered 5 years, $70 million. That didn't come from the Nuggets side of things, because who benefits from something like that? Obviously, Rich Paul is going to play all the cards, and everybody in Peyton Watson's camp is going to play all the cards as much as they can to try to get him the money that he believes that he is worth. So I think that usually Rich Paul and Clutch find a way to get what they want. It takes a lot of time sometimes. This could extend on into September, maybe even October, if that's the case. And both sides are going to get pretty ugly with it. But at the end of the day, it's business. And with the restricted free agency market the way that it is, I still think that Denver holds more cards at the end of the day. But We'll find out because Rich Paul, again, still finds a way to get what he wants for the most part.
Likelihood that Watson comes back and is playing for the Nuggets this year?
I still think it's like 60 to 65%. It's more likely than not that he does that. I think that Denver still wants Peyton Watson. I think that the reason why the rumors have come out the way that they are is it's Watson's side of the camp trying to drum up as much interest, trade interest, get people to the table, talking about different contract options and money options and trade ideas and things of that nature. But Denver can sift through all of that. And at the end of the day, I still think that they want the two-way versatility, somebody who is a dynamic wing that has upside, like they like what he can provide as a secondary creator and also as a spot-up shooter and defender. So he's a valuable piece to what they do. What they're trying to accomplish right now is make up for the fact that they have a whole bunch of expensive contracts. And so they're trying to get a deal. And if they can get a deal, then great. Then that means that they're able to keep this group together as long as possible. But they are holding on to those last legs, and Peyton Watson, still 23 years old, still a guy that they're hoping for. And they see the writing on the wall with the way that things went in the offseason or in the playoffs last year. So you want to make sure that whatever happens in the future, you have a reasonable future still laying in wait.
There is Ryan Blackburn, Mile High Sports. Follow him on X at NBA Blackburn. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sparky. Appreciate it.
You betcha. There he is, Ryan Blackburn, joining us on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I felt like somebody took a bucket of water and dumped it over my head. I literally, as a Bucs fan listening to that, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, well, the best chance we have is that Rich Paul bullies them in getting him to Milwaukee. And with all due respect to Rich Paul, dude, you owe us. This whole Gary Trent fiasco, you kind of owe us one here. Like, if you're going to bully, now would be the time to kind of pay John Horst back for this nonsense that you put him in with this dumb Gary Trent deal, and go see what you can do.
Would you rather they don't make a trade at all than just go and get Peyton Watson? Because what I got out of that is that they're going to make a move and that they're going to change things up and things are going to be a little different. And again, we're going to see new faces come back into this Milwaukee Bucks lineup. So any of those three guys are available for that trade exception.
I don't want Braun.
You don't want Braun?
I don't want Braun.
Why not?
No, not.
He was key to their championship run.
Yeah, good. That was a while ago. No, don't want Braun. Cam Johnson's expiring, so I don't care about that. I think Cam Johnson, like Tyler Hero, both would take a lot of shots, increase trade value, and potentially, hopefully, one of those two knuckleheads will get you a one back for the 27 draft. That's the goal. For me this year, the goal is to get a 1 in 27 to add to this young core going forward and continue to build this out. So I'd be fine with that. Watson at 25 seems like a hell of a lot of money. Now, you went over the numbers. It's not as crazy when you start comparing them to everybody else that plays the position. So not as crazy as you think. If the upside is that great and the Bucks think they can get something out of it, cool. Where does Nate Ament fit into this? So long-term, then Watson's the 3, Ament's the 4. If Ament's the 4, then he's got a long way to go physically to be able to handle that beating. If Watson's the 2, it's potential 6'8" 2 guard, which would fit the plus deal. Murray's at 6'3". The 2 is 6'8". Watson. Ament's at the 3 at 6'11". Then Bogey potentially, if he works out at the 4, or you draft somebody down the line to play the 4 or the 5.
You make another trade.
But now again, you get real long all of a sudden. 6'3", 6'8", 6'11", in your point shooting guard and small forward. That goes along with a philosophy that John Horst has been talking about.
It does. And then maybe
you're athletic.
Maybe you could go a little undersized with the center too and find somebody that's kind of fit in with what this Bucks team has done recently
for
with the
Jericho Sims. Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm not.
Is that what you're doing?
I'm not. I would love that.
Feel like you're kind of
if Jericho
angling.
Sims takes a step this season, I'm going to be so excited for him. I'm like, as much as I joke about Jericho Sims, I think he could be a fun player if he can take progressive steps.
I think I need to get you a Jericho Sims jersey.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'd rock that all the time.
I think you would, right?
Easy.
I don't think they make it, though. So
they make it.
I'd have to figure out how to do it. And Fanatics, you can customize your own jersey, right?
Well, and you can go on like DHgate and stuff.
Into what?
DHgate, AliExpress.
What now? Go back to the first. How do you spell that?
DHgate.com. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's like buy jerseys from overseas and stuff.
So
and
it's
they're like,
knockoffs that
they're
aren't
like
real.
replica fake jerseys.
Right.
Yeah. But they end up looking fine. Most of my jerseys are like, not most of them, some of them are from there.
Really?
Yeah.
Never-
And they end up looking good
I've never done that.
for like a quarter of the price. They take like 5 months to get here.
Yeah.
But you get them and they're good. Yeah.
All right.
Try it out sometime.
Charlie using over there, see Sparky 5 for here. Let me tell you about my friends over there at Bryan and Stratton College in Wauwatosa. Are you looking for a college where you can excel in the classroom and on the field? Bryan Stratton College in Tosa, baby. You can compete in the NJC AA Division II athletics with more than 20 men's and women's teams to choose from. Keep playing the sport that you love while earning your associate degree in business, health, criminal justice, or digital marketing. Athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Again, not D3. They have scholarships. D2, they can give you scholarships. So athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Visit bryanstratton.edu and discover how Bryan and Stratton College is built different for you. Like we always say, you're a parent and your kid's like borderline D1 or whatever. Maybe they can go D1, but probably going to sit their whole freshman year, so forth. Or maybe I can go Bryan Stratton and maybe my kid's got a chance to start, play a bunch for a couple of years, and then go in, the junior year essentially to a D1 school and go in and play right away. And you save yourself a bunch of money by going to Bryan Stratton for a couple of years, and you get a great education for your kid along the way. To me, it's really a no-brainer at this point. Again, bryanstratton.edu. Check them out right there in Wauwatosa here in southeastern Wisconsin. Things Sparky missed coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up from 5 until 6 tonight. Leadoff show with yours truly from 7:30 to 8:30. Then after the last pitch, you'll make the switch just like you did last night to the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and myself. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up comes up at 5 o'clock. Don't forget, you can always watch Wisconsin Sports Daily in the Growth Law video stream on Instagram Live, X, and YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Injured growth gets it. Bad to the bone. All right, it is the last segment of the show. And what do we always do in the last segment of the show?
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now.
All right, things that we missed on today's show. Ohio State got all this love about this patch deal that they signed. And it is obviously a big deal that they were able to get it done. And then here come the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They have reached a multi-year deal with SoFi Technologies that will place the financial service company's brand on the Fighting Irish jerseys in every sport starting this season. The university announced today the 6-year deal is worth about $18 to $20 million per year and is believed to be the richest in college athletics history. That is a lot of money every year coming in when we're talking $18 to $20 million a year. Now, to put that into perspective, I want to talk about the Wisconsin Badgers and their deal at this point, as far as what they ended up getting. And I want to see if they actually anywhere put how much it actually is worth at the end of the day. Now, again, their jersey deal, I'm just going to Badger notes here, Dylan Graff, who I read from time to time. I'm looking to see if there are numbers on it. I don't see numbers attached.
I do not.
As far as pricing goes, I would assume that the deal is not nearly as big as the deal that Notre Dame has. If you were to guess how much the deal was per year, if Notre Dame is getting 18 to 20 million, Wisconsin's getting what? 2 to 3 million a year?
I bet more than that. Like Culver's is a bigger brand than that. Still, even though it is a mostly local brand, they're becoming more of a national brand. I would say probably closer to 8 to 10. I'd give them that. We just talked about how much money they're getting as a bigger program.
Yeah,
now.
I understand. Like that just seems like an awful lot of money to me that they're putting out there to do this thing. If that's what it is, that's great. I mean, that's absolutely amazing if that's what it is. Other news that we didn't get to talk about, we haven't talked about the Kyle Shanahan thing necessarily.
He took ownership today.
Yes. So Kyle Shanahan, speaking publicly for the first time since the crash, talked for about 30 minutes. Now, if you haven't heard about this, a couple of weeks ago, he crashed with another vehicle, broken everything, ribs, cuts, like right by his eye, could have lost his eyeball, apparently. He is still in really bad shape. And nobody knew about it. And then when they went to look at the public record, apparently, according to the reporters, there were no citations issued either. Which, again, never seen that one in my life. You've got these type of injuries and this bad, and nobody's at fault. Like, I don't understand how that possibly could be. Shanahan said Tuesday, this is a 20-year-old, 1-year-old woman in the other car. I hit her, Shanahan said Tuesday. I don't know why it was reported that it was her fault. The police report doesn't say that. Shanahan then gave the full version of events that led up to and through the collision between his Tesla Model S and the other driver's SUV, a crash that left Shanahan with a concussion, a broken left hand, nose, and 3 ribs, as well as 40 stitches above his right eye. Shanahan said, quote, I was going 20 miles an hour. I was not on my phone, but I dropped my phone and it stuck in my seat. It's on my lap and it slid off. And I went down to look for it, took my eyes off the road for 2 seconds, As I was coming up, the airbags hit me in the face, broke my nose, and then they said the visor really gashed me. I took my eyes off the road looking for my phone. My car veered into someone. It's one of those roads where there's no forgiveness. When I hit her, the impact was just so, I'll just never forget how violent it was.
I know it's not Friday, but like, you should probably be pleading the fifth. I feel like you're saying more information than maybe you should. Like, if she isn't suing you at this point, I would now. Like, you've just admitted everything to all the media on earth. Like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Lieutenant Nicholas Martinez of the Palo Alto Police Department said in a statement that the Shanahan account was correct and that he was found at fault for the collision. There was a clerical error in the preparation of the report that was transmitted to the state database. We are in the process of correcting that error. It is the officer's discretion at the scene of the collision as to whether they issue a citation to either party. It is not uncommon for officers to elect to not issue a citation to either party involved in a collision. What? Neither party in this situation was provided preferential treatment. Man, y'all need to stop.
Okay, sure.
You
yeah.
all need to stop.
You can't say that after he just admits to everything. You can't say that there was no preferential treatment when everybody walks away without a citation. That's crazy. He took his eyes off the road. He was looking for his phone, which means that he was potentially on his phone in the first place, which has to be part of the investigation. Like, that's crazy to me.
So now again, I am not a car expert. I'm not going to claim to be a car expert. He says he's going 20. The speed limit is 25. They claim she wasn't speeding. So these two hit each other going at about 20 miles an hour and airbags went off?
Yeah.
Going 20 miles an hour, airbags went off?
Well, and
I've never had airbags go off outside of when I almost died, but I was going 75 or whatever it was and got hit by a semi going 75 on the other side of the car. So that I understand how that works. I do not understand 20. I've never been in an accident going 20 and had airbags go on.
And it might be that, again, you have the force of both cars hitting each other. They're both going 20. And then he said it's a pretty tight road with not a lot of forgiveness. If the car swung around and maybe hit another car that's parked on the street, like, we don't know what the scene looked like too. I think that's the other part of this. So yeah, maybe 20 miles per hour doesn't seem that fast. Doesn't seem like it'd have this type of impact, but we need to know everything else around it to really make that judgment, I think.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's crazy. I would have kept my mouth shut if I was him. This is nuts.
Well, it appears he came out because there must have been reports in San Francisco or something blaming the girl, saying she was the one at fault. And at which point he said, no. I'm not going to let her take the fault for this. It wasn't her fault. It was his fault.
If I was her, I'd be, that's very nice, Mr. Shanahan. Now you owe me a lot of money because, again, you just admitted all the fault to everybody.
But again, if this thing is kept under wraps for 2 weeks,
feels like it's probably already cleaned up, that he already maybe made his payments or whatnot, and that this is beyond that point. Yeah,
could be. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy to think at all. That he just said, "Hey, look, I don't need this getting out. It's my fault. I'll take care of whatever the bills are for you, all that, and a little something, and just call it a day. And please just stay out of the media, right?" And she goes, "Okay."
That'd be the only way, if I was his lawyer, that I'd be letting him do this,
right.
or not calling him.
She's 21, right? So takes it and walks away. Look, man, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong.
As both parties are happy with the outcome, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Hey, look, man, y'all hit me, and you're worth millions, and you offer me, I don't know, $1 million to shut up. Where do I sign? I don't know anything.
That's all it was, that you hit me with your car while looking for your phone, man. All right,
going 20.
Sure.
You need me going 80. Give me going 20. Yeah, yeah. Here, man. I'll sign right here. $100 million. Yeah, cool. Just deposit that right here. Yes, I'm in.
People have been paid off for a lot more in the past.
You can buy me off to shut my mouth about a car accident, so you can look good because you're the famous person. Sure, yeah, no problem. I'm not gonna sit here.
SUV, yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can't be bought off by Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan. Like, absolutely, I can be bought off by Kyle Shanahan. Hey, Hamish and Rotier, man. Hey, perfect, man. Right, perfect. National reputation, hometown service. Hamish.com, helping injured Wisconsinites, not Californians necessarily, injured Wisconsinites, going back to 1930, 13 locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin. Wausau, Green Bay, Appleton, Madison, Milwaukee, southeastern Wisconsin. They're everywhere where you want them to be. And they're approachable. They treat you like a family member or a friend. They're going to do everything in their power to get for you what you rightfully deserve. It can be stressful. It can cause you sleep. It can cause you a lot of things. It's a big weight to carry on your shoulders when you're paying hospital bills and doctor bills and trying to figure out what you're going to do for a vehicle and all of that. Let them help you. Go to Habish and Rotier. Check them out today. National reputation, hometown service. Again, that's Habish.com. That's where you want to go. All right, Wisconsin Sports wrap-up coming up here at 5 o'clock. Leadoff show at 7:30 with yours truly, Tim and myself back tonight. Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show, late night, middle of the night. They better score a damn run. If I stay up 2 nights in a row, if they don't score a run, you're going to hear me yelling and waking people up all over the city of Milwaukee and all over the state of Wisconsin. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily. Have a good night. Toodles.